If you think that Boruto 2 Blue Vortex is just letting Mamushi roam around with baby oil around Konoha for no reason while he looks for Eida, then you're already falling behind, because now Boruto, he isn't just fighting fate, he's also fighting a future where Damon's worst nightmare already came true, in a timeline that was shown to have taken place, that Boruto's now actively trying to stop from happening. Mamushi killed Eida, and even worse, he killed Himawari too. And what's terrifying right now is that Damon knows that future exists, which means this invasion of Konoha, it's not random. It's not a coincidence. It's a setup. But it isn't just any old setup. It's a loaded gun aimed directly at one person, the one person that Damon would burn the world down to protect, his older sister Eida. And the scariest part, Damon right now isn't even going after Mamushi because he doesn't need to just yet. Instead, Damon is just sitting there aura farming because he's acting like the final boss sitting behind the gate. And that's what makes this eventual collision course between Damon and Mamushi something that isn't just likely, but it's also narratively inevitable, because I do think that he is going to get to that location where Eida is currently hiding. Join me in today's newest Naruto Explained video, where your OBC, your original Boruto chief, breaks down why Mamushi does need to get to Eida's location, why this fight needs to happen. And also, don't forget to go over onto the Naruto Explained Teespring, links down in the description box, to buy yourself some of that OBC merchandise. We got them in various colors, blue and white because those are my colors, orange and black because those are Naruto's colors, pink and black because those are Boruto's colors. When you look inside of the lettering, you'll notice the bolts and screws. Those are homages to the bolt necklace that Boruto wears to pay respect to Neji, and the hex screw bolts are a nod to the hex screw bolts that you see in the Boruto spelling on all the official merchandise. There's a 15% off promo code called OBC2 that you can use at checkout, and if you purchase any of the merchandise, email me at my business account and I will feature in a video, just like I did for this person here who purchased that when we were Singon We Win merchandise. Big shouts out to the patron Fantastic Bruiser for sending me that message over on Discord. So Mamushi invading Konoha, it now forces Damon into the story in a big way. Mamushi didn't just invade Konoha to pick fights. He invaded with a surgical intent. He came directly for Eida. And what matters is that Eida is a very important character, not just because she's a singularity of fate. She's Damon's sister, and she is his entire emotional anchor. Damon doesn't fight for the villages. He doesn't fight for shinobi ideals. He doesn't care about humanity. He only cares about one person. And that's why the moment that Damon hears that Mamushi is inside the village, something snap reacted inside of him. And we saw it in the manga. That look, that silent hyper-focused rage before he said that he's not going to let anybody harm his sister. He knows what Mamushi did. And unlike the other fighters that are rushing out to the village, Damon stayed behind, not because he's afraid, but because he understands the role that is written for him to play. He's not the hunter here. Instead, he is the last line of defense. The final process, the final boss, running in the background, carrying a belt that has Papa Jura written on it because he's going to beat Mamushi with it. If you get that reference, give me a one finger pointing up in the sky emoji down in the comment section. But this is poetic irony. The big brother bully now becomes the hunted when you think about it, because this fight isn't just about power itself. It's about poetic revenge, because before Mamushi ever existed, there was Bug. Bug was somebody that was portrayed as weak and obedient. He was obsessed with Eida, and Damon just outright humiliated him. Psychologically, emotionally, physically. Bug, he was afraid of Damon. This blurred the line between infestation and submission, but now we have to fast forward. Bug's chakras now become Mamushi. All the abilities that we see Mamushi using outside of the claw marks, those are all things that Bug could have done. The fire release, the ability to split himself into multiple different versions, and etc. And Mamushi, he's not obsessed in the same way. Instead, he's evolved, he's sharper, he's colder, he's more aware, and now he's not the one being bullied. He's the one doing the hunting. That makes this battle poetic, because Damon bullied the man whose very soul is now chasing his sister, which means Mamushi attacking Eida, it isn't random. It's thematically karmic when you think about it. And karma in the world of Boruto, not speaking about the karma seal, just the concept of karma itself, it never truly misses, especially when you understand the technical symbolism that I don't see enough people talking about. So this storyline goes deeper when you understand that Ikimoto, like his eternal sensei as he refers to him, Akira Toriyama, likes to use puns for names, in particular when it comes to the villains. When you understand the programming symbolism hiding beneath the surface, it gets a lot more complicated. Damon isn't just a character name. In computing, a daemon is a background process. It runs silently, continuously. It intercepts threats. It protects a core system. That's been Damon's narrative role, from his reflection jutsu to how he's hyper-fixated on trying to protect Eida and etc. He doesn't act loud, he just pounces when he sees the threat going towards his sister. He doesn't posture. He watches and he reacts. Sarada and Sumire know that all too well. Eida, she isn't random either, as I've talked about before. The official spelling of her name is Ada. That is a pun on Ada Lovelace, but when you look at the way that the lettering is done in Japan, it's spelled Eida. That was also intentional because it is a pun. Eida is the way that the Japanese spell for the Ada programming language. Ada's name just being Ada in general is a nod to the first computer programmer, Ada Lovelace. She represents the core system that Damon was trying to protect. The beautiful logic, the central code, if you will. No mention of code here, but code obviously is a pun on computer code. But bug is also not subtle either. He's literally called bug. In programming, bugs are flaws. They are errors. They are corruptions in the system. That is why Mamushi, on top of being named after the most venomous snake in Japan, is also able to see Eida when she uses her Senrigan. He's a bug in her system. When you look at Mamushi, he is a corruption born from a bug, just as a bug is a corruption of a computer program. He's seeking to overwrite the core code. He wants to dominate Eida, like he said. All of that dialogue should make a lot more sense to you. He wants to kill Eida, and Damon, he is the background security process designed to stop exactly that kind of threat. This isn't just story, it's systems architecture. And that brings me to why Mamushi is the perfect enemy to expose Damon. So this is a uncomfortable truth that I don't think Damon fans want to acknowledge, but Damon has never fought seriously. And when Damon told Boruto, I want to fight you at full power for the very first time in my life, the expectation was that Boruto would be the one that forces Damon to use full power, but that very well could be a false gun. The true thing could be that it ends up being Mamushi. Damon has dominated everyone that he's fought, and he's done so very casually. He's laughed at god tier opponents, but there's supposed to be a weakness, and we know what the weakness is. Bug knows it as well. He told Code, but Code was too weak to exploit that weakness. He was too slow. To exploit Damon's weakness in combat, you have to be relative to him. Mamushi, that's where it gets interesting. He's got Bug's instincts. He's got obsession refined into murderous intent. He's got Shinju enhancements, the Shibai Otsuki cells that allow him to use the claw mark jutsu. He's got Ishiki's essence via Code's karma seal. He's got all those different jutsu that Bug has. Mamushi was somebody who had the upper hand on base Boruto. We've never seen Mamushi fight at full power, but we can kind of draw the argument up that Mamushi might be somebody that we call a wild card to force Damon to use full power. That makes him uniquely qualified to break that illusion that we have of Damon's invincibility, because it's not a situation as to if Mamushi can beat him. It doesn't matter if he beats him or not, but it might be a situation where he forces Damon to fight seriously, and that's a big deal. And I do think that the story is setting that up, which brings me to this next point. Damon staying behind was meant to, in my opinion, guarantee that clash happens. Damon not joining that chase squad isn't a plot hole. We saw how he reacted when he sensed that enormous chakra inside of Himawari and he wanted to test it out. He likes a challenge, but he's not meant to fight on the outside. He's meant to fight on the inside, just like a Damon fights on the inside. Again, the programming reference here. He's inside the heart of the village in terms of still being there to protect Eida. He's inside the core system known as Eida. Mamushi has to go where Eida is. Damon's already there. That means this fight isn't a maybe. It's potentially a win. Its location's locked. The emotional stakes, they're also locked, and the symbolism is also locked. The only thing missing is the trigger being pulled. Even if Mamushi loses, he still wins narratively, and I do think that gets overlooked. It matters from a writing standpoint, a writing perspective. The Shinju, they do need some more credibility. They've served a role. I'm happy with how they've been presented, especially the narrative themes that each of them represent. I'm happy with that, but I do think that they could stand to use a little bit more credibility. That does not take away from their strength, but when we talk about writing, in particular with battles shonen, you have to have a little bit more than just the action per se. The action is a great way to tell the story, but the really good mangaka of battle shonen know how to catch that balance. Even Akira Toriyama, when you read Dragon Ball's manga from start to finish, and you don't just start with Z, you see that there are layers to the story. It's more than just Ki Blast go boom and people go Super Saiyan. Anybody saying that has garbage reading comprehension. But right now, the Shinju, there could be one more push. I think we're close to take them beyond just being a dangerous concept. I think we're very close. That flashback, or rather the tease of the timeline that never took place, it added more to the tension because we know Mamushi was successful. That gave the Shinju a win, even if it happened off screen. But Damon casually erased a beyond Jigen level threat and code. He's a walking benchmark of power to a degree. If Mamushi survives a short exchange with him, if Damon fights semi-seriously, if he lands a hit, if he forces Damon to stop smiling and fight seriously, that alone elevates Mamushi. And by extension, it elevates the Shinju, every single one of them not named Jura. Because strength in battle shonen, it's about comparative hierarchy. Too often we get caught up in wins and losses when it's a bit more than that. You don't need to win, you just need to do enough to be measured. And Mamushi being measured against Damon, that's instant credibility. Damon isn't just a kid. He's a symbolic system. He's a guardian process. He is a living countermeasure meant to protect his sister. Mamushi isn't just a monster. He's a corrupted era that was born in the bug in the symbolic system. This isn't just a fight between two very strong characters. This is security versus corruption. This is background process versus malware. This is core code versus fatal error. All of my tech junkies out there definitely got those references I just made. But the cruelest part, Damon created this monster indirectly by bullying the very man whose soul his sister is a target to be devoured by. This isn't just fate, this is consequence. And whether Mamushi wins or loses, the moment Damon is forced to fight seriously, that's going to change everything we know for the better, in my opinion. Obviously, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and clicking here. Check out more videos from Naruto Explained, or click here. Check out videos from other two anime channels where I talk about non-Naruto content.